I know that we're more NFL, but we gotta talk about Colorado here. Some college football action. Yeah, for a minute. So, Colorado's the hot shit in college football at the moment. And the one thing that people didn't talk about, at all, is this team gives up a lot of points. That was a marker. This team gives up a lot of points. Sure, their offense is something that hasn't been seen in a really long time, mind you. And there's all this hype surrounding the Buffaloes right now. But the thing is, they've played against some smaller schools. I mean, sure, they beat TCU, but I mean, that game came down to the wire. That was 7-54 or whatever? I mean, that game came down to the wire. And then they played against two smaller schools that they pretty much just barely skated by with. And then they finally play against Oregon, who is their first conference opponent of the season, and they get blown the fuck out. You know, I have a hard time buying into the Colorado hype because of how many points they give up. You know, it was not a good game for Colorado. It was not a good game for Deion Sanders as a coach. You know, there's a lot of things that were exposed about this team. Again, this offense can probably still be good, but I mean, the defense cannot continue to give up points like this. 42-6. Okay? 42 points were given up in this game. And all of a sudden, everyone's questioning, hey, why is this a surprise? How the hell did this happen? Well, there's a lot of red flags surrounding this team that nobody's talking about because major sports media never wants to talk about it. Alright, so that is my rant to start the stream off. What the hell is my lighting today? For some reason I'm not getting light the way I should. But anyways, yeah, how's everybody doing? Let me just fix my thing here. Alright, we're good. Maybe it's just that screen. Anyways, so let's talk about the NFL. So, first thing that I'm going to go over, the Ravens signed Kyle Van Noy heading into this week. And I wanted to talk about that. That's not the screen that you guys should be on. So, let's take a look at Kyle Van Noy. So, he's a little bit of a journeyman, but, I mean, he is definitely one of the better players in the league. Now, I've highlighted 2017 to 2022 because this is really when he started to become known as one of the better linebackers in the league. You can see that he has made himself known as a pass rusher. He's shown that he can get to the quarterback. He's shown that he can get to the backfield. I mean, he's got a number of tackles for losses, number of QB hits. I mean, this is not somebody that teams should be fucking around with. You know, I remember him mostly with the Patriots. Granted, he still had some really good years with Miami, and I guess you can say he had a decent year with the Rams. But no, definitely the Patriots is where I remember him making his name at. So, what is Baltimore getting necessarily? Well, they're finally getting somebody that can actually fill a hole that the Ravens have had for a while. Because the Ravens have just been that friend that you play Madden with who's just picking the best available players off the markets, not really picking based on position needs. Does he need a depth position? He's just that guy who's picking random people. The Ravens have kind of done that same thing since Lamar Jackson came into the league. And there's been a lot of red flags with the Ravens, but they haven't done anything. So now getting a linebacker, they finally are getting a player who can be very disruptive on the field. And linebacker is a position that the Ravens have needed for a number of years now because I don't think their linebackers are all that hot. I don't think the team is all that hot, but I've already ranted about that a number of times. But no, I think Kyle Van Noy is going to be a good signing for the Ravens. Something that they've been needing to do for a long time is to actually look at what they have and evaluate based on that instead of just picking the best available player for no reason. So yeah, that is Kyle Van Noy. The other thing I brought up, these are his stats from just that highlighted section alone. 9 forced fumbles over this 5 years. 9 forced fumbles over this 9-year stretch. 31 and a half sacks. And 60 QB hits. Just in these 5 years. If he can bring this kind of production to Baltimore, like I said, Baltimore's getting a very, very good linebacker. Something that they've been needing to do for a long time now. So that is Kyle Van Noy. Let us take a look at the prediction record for this week. So, that's week 4. Was it the greatest week in the world for us? No, it was not. We went 6-10 this week. But I'm going to be honest, I'm okay with that. This fucking website, I swear. We went 6-10 this week. 2 of those picks were changed heading into the week. I changed Tennessee beating the Browns. And I also had Chicago beating the Chiefs in an upset. Because, the Chiefs weren't playing very well. Not that Chicago was playing very well either. But, they weren't playing well for either team. There was, I think, 1 or 2 games that we were way off on. But otherwise, a lot of these other games were very, very close games. The Jets and Patriots, that game came down to a Hail Mary for the most part. We're going to talk about the Jets a little bit later on, but that game, they came down to the wire. So even with the 6-10 record for this week, I think I'm still very proud of that. Because again, there was those upset picks. I did change 2 of them. You also have Arizona upsetting Dallas. That was a big one that happened. But otherwise, I think I'm okay with this. So we're going to take a look at what my predictions are for next week a little bit later on in the stream. But right now, if we take a look at the records for the season outlook, Sorry, I've only been awake for an hour. But if we take a look at the season outlook here, the Jets still positioned to go 10-7 right now based on our preseason predictions. That is going to change very quickly because I think there's a lot of confidence being lost from the Jets right now. Dolphins will probably take the Jets' spot in the AFC East, especially if they continue to play well. So just because you see 6-11 here, that does not mean that I'm not going to be changing a lot of picks, because I'm probably going to change a lot of picks for Miami this year if they continue to play as well as they have been. I'm sure you guys are seeing this Broncos game that they just had. We'll go over that. We will definitely be going over that one. Let's see. So that's the AFC East. Like I said, the big change is probably going to be the Jets and the Dolphins. AFC North is probably going to stay pretty much where it's at. AFC South, the Texans are probably... They might eke out a few more wins than 2. But I think the AFC South is going to stay pretty much the way that is. And same thing with the AFC West. Not much change happening here. Looking at the NFC, I'm still very confident in the NFC East. Minus the Giants. I'm probably going to be flexing a lot of Giants picks throughout the season. Because, I mean, they have a fucking tier named after them, and it's not the kind of tier they want. So that'll probably be flexed to go down. I'm sure Washington will take over the Giants spot. NFC West is still very much 49ers division. So I'm not really going to make changes here. You know, the Rams might pull 6 wins instead of 4. But again, not much change happening in the NFC West. NFC North might change depending on what the Vikings do. Because right now, they're set to finish 11-6 based on our predictions. But they're not really winning games. They're playing well, they're just not winning the games. So I think I'm going to leave NFC North the way it is. But then the NFC South is still very much up for grabs unless you're Carolina. You know, Carolina's set to go 2-15 right now. But no, other than Carolina, the NFC South is still very much up for grabs. And we're only heading into the 4th week of the season. A lot of this will change very fast. You know, even with the Ravens, because next week I got them beating the Browns. Even with that, it looks like the Browns should still finish 12-5, which would still give them the division win. But we'll see. We'll see. That's what the outlook is like on the season for right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here. I'm going to get set up for the weekly rankings. And then we'll keep on going. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My mic decided not to turn on. Basically what I was saying is I like the weekly rankings system that we have, but I want to try to come up with other segments that we can do. Because, the weekly rankings are fun, but I just want something different to do. The one that I was thinking about doing is possibly doing like teams breaking up with players who have a bad week or something. And the way we do it is we come up with like a Taylor Swift style album name, because we all know that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are together right now. So I thought about maybe doing something like that for... It's fucking light, I swear. I thought about doing something like that for players that are having a bad week and their teams want to break up with them or something. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments, because I want to know what you guys think we can do. So let us get started with the weekly rankings. So I'm only going to really discuss the teams that are fluctuating from the rankings. So like the Niners, for example, they're staying in S tier this week, so we're not really going to talk about that a whole lot. But then, like, the Giants are also staying where they are, so again, not a team that I intend to spend a ton of time on. Let me just get my computer set up the way it should. It's a little difficult working with so many fucking screens at times. But, yeah, we should be all good now. So, starting off with the Browns, I am going to put them in the C tier. Alright. They played very well against Tennessee, but I'm not convinced with this offense yet. Alright. The defense is very elite, or not very elite, you know what I mean. This defense has shown that it can be an elite defense, but this offense needs more than just 1 week to convince me that they're that good. So, if they play well against Baltimore next week, maybe they move up in the B tier, but right now I'm not convinced with this offense. Not entirely. So they're going to go into the C tier. The Falcons, I'm going to drop down to C tier also. They played a very tough game against Detroit, but the offense really didn't do much, and their defense also failed to stop Detroit on critical drives. So not quite the performance that we should expect out of them, but I think C tier is a very fair grade for the Falcons. So let's get into the Saints and the Packers. So we all know that most of these rankings are based off the highlights that the NFL puts out on YouTube. And I'm not kidding when I say this. I actually thought I was watching Justin Fields. Like, I swear to God, I thought I was watching Justin Fields highlights when watching that video. Like, it was a terrible performance out of Green Bay. The Saints, they can't close out a game if their life depended on it. They've had 3 very close games to start the season, and they finally it came back to haunt them where they end up losing the game. So, they were up 17-0 in the fourth. 17-0 in the fourth, and they give up 18 unanswered. So, I don't know what it is with the Saints right now, but yeah, the Saints are going to drop to D tier because that was ugly. Until the Saints can close out a game, they're going to be in D tier because They cannot have a game where they have full control over it and then they have a Falcon-style choke. Okay, that is absolutely ridiculous. Packers, you're dropping in the C tier. You know, regardless of your comeback, you cannot look like Justin Fields. Okay? That cannot happen. Like, at all. At all. Especially against the team that has struggled to close out games. Alright, so let's turn some things around real quick. You know, I know I just got really hard on a couple teams, but the next two teams that we're going to talk about, one of them definitely deserves to be ridiculed. The other one is getting a lot of praise heading in to week 4. The Dolphins and the Broncos. 70-20 was the final score of that game. Miami just fucking killed Denver and everything that they kind of had going for them. Yeah, Denver, without a doubt, is dropping into Giants tier. Because, I mean, you give up 70 points and look like shit while doing it. Especially when your team has had reasons to panic. Because I know I put you in B tier last week, but you played a tough game last week against Washington. That's the thing. This week was not anywhere close to that. And as for Miami, Miami's going up into S tier, which is actually going to be renamed to Dolphins tier. That's right. I am renaming S tier to Dolphins tier. Alright, so the music decided to start playing. Yeah. Miami now has a tier named after them. They are now in what is called Dolphins tier. 70-0. Or 70-20, I should say. That is by far the standard for victory this week. In fact, this season, I should say. That is by far set the standard for this season. I'm going to keep San Francisco in Dolphins tier right now because, I mean, they're still playing at an S tier level, which, like we said, is now Dolphins tier. We'll see. We'll see. You know, I think I'm going to drop San Francisco down to A tier. You know, that's not a knock on San Francisco. It's just the bar has now been raised. So, yeah, Niners fans, don't worry about it. You guys have nothing to worry about. It's just the Dolphins have set the bar. So that's why A tier is where the Niners are ending up. The Vikings are playing at a better level than the Saints, but the problem is they can't really control the ball very well. There's a lot of turnovers in Minnesota, a lot of close turnovers also. They're 0-3. They're playing hard, but I'm going to drop them in the D tier. Okay, it's very, very close, but they got to be able to control the ball better. They got to be able to push for that, like make that final push for the win, which right now they're not really doing. But yeah, we're gonna drop the Vikings in the D tier. Little bit of panic with the 0-3 record, but nothing to be absolutely ashamed of, I guess you can say. The Patriots, yeah, they played okay against the Jets. I'm going to put them in the C tier. You know, to be fair, the Jets still have a pretty good defense, And really, the defense is what's keeping the Jets out of Giants tier this week. But that offense is not looking too good without Aaron Rodgers. And I think we expected that, but they got to find a way to turn things around. I've not been discussing the quarterback rumors surrounding the Jets this season, because I don't know how Kaepernick's name keeps getting thrown around, but that would be an absolutely terrible decision if they signed Kaepernick, because he hasn't been in football for 5 years now. So that would be pretty bad if they signed Kaepernick. And if they sign Kaepernick, they're going to throw a shit ton of money at him. It's going to be a terrible contract. But yeah, Patriots, they played well, or okay, I should say. They played good against the Jets. That game came down to the wire, it was a Hail Mary. And the Jets almost got it. They almost got the Hail Mary. So that's something to praise them for. But yeah, for right now, they're going to stay in D tier because that defense is still really, their defense is still good. All right, I'll give credit to their defense. Buffalo versus Washington is a simple one. Buffalo's going to move to B tier. Washington's going to move to C tier. It was not a close game. They just got outplayed by Buffalo. So I don't think Washington has any reason to panic. It's just they got outplayed. That's all I can say. Chicago. Oh, man. Chicago's going to move down into D tier. I understand that they played the Chiefs and they're having problems. The reason I'm keeping the Chiefs in D tier is for the sole reason that they played Chicago. Until Kansas City plays a tough team like the Jets next week, because like I said, the Jets defense can still be a really good defense at the end of the season. So until we see how that game goes heading into this week, I'm going to keep Kansas City into D tier. All right. But as for Chicago, it's getting very close to panic time. So they're going into D tier right now. But just keep in mind, they have to turn things around next week, all right? I'm giving Chicago a chance to turn things around before I put them in the Giants tier. I'm giving Chicago a very generous chance. But if they look like shit next week, just be aware, they're going in the Giants tier. Dallas got upset against the Cardinals this week. So I think it's only fair that the Cardinals get promoted to D tier. All right. There's still a lot of questions surrounding Arizona. They might be panicking as the season rolls on. But for right now, I think they have definitely earned the rights to be promoted. All right. They're not the Giants. They most certainly are not the Broncos. But, they upset Dallas. So I think promotion is definitely well-deserved. Dallas, I'm actually going to move them down into the B tier. They'll bounce back next week against the Patriots. Upsets happen in sports. This was just one of those times where they got upset. Now, can I put them into C tier? Yes, I can absolutely put Dallas into C tier. But again, they suffered an upset. It happens. So they're going to go into B tier. Nothing to really worry about right now. As for the Raiders, what the hell is going on? I said I wasn't going to talk about teams that don't move, but what the fuck? You guys are... You beat Denver to start the season. That's not a huge accomplishment. But you absolutely looked like shit against Buffalo. So, yeah, you looked like shit against Buffalo. And then you can't even beat the Steelers. The fucking Steelers, you can't beat them. For all the hype that Raiders fans were giving their team. For all the hype that major sports media was giving this team. And for all the shit talk that Raiders fans did before the season started. Where's your team? I honestly want to know. I'm not trying to shit talk the Raiders. I honestly want to know, where is this team at? Because this team does not look like a Super Bowl winner. They do not look like Super Bowl winners to me. This looks like a team that's going to take an exit in the wild card. So I honestly want to know, before I really go heavy on this team, what the hell is going on? Why is this team not giving the results that we all expected? Okay? I get it. They beat the Broncos. Big deal. You know, Buffalo is a playoff team. Looked like shit against Buffalo. The Steelers are just there. You know, they're the fucking definition of mediocrity in the AFC. So, how do they not play well? You know, honestly, I honestly want to know, before I start talking shit about the Raiders, I want to know what the hell is going on. So, Raiders fans, please tell me what your thoughts are on this team, because I honestly have no idea how to judge this team with everything that's been talked about. Okay? I get that we've done this with the Browns for so many years, but at the end of the day, Browns fans just expect the team to suck. Raiders fans, you have Jimmy Garoppolo now. You're talking about being AFC champions, if not Super Bowl. So why is this team not playing like it? All right, please tell me. I am begging you. Please tell me what's going on, because you guys are not looking any better than Carolina right now. And I could very well put the Raiders in the Giants tier, because the performance just has not been there. Like, at all this season. Even against the Broncos, the performance just hasn't been there to make me think this team is a playoff contender. So, please, I'm begging you, please tell me what the hell is going on with this team. Alright. Anyways. I gotta open OBS again. Alright. Anyways, I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the final segment where we're going to look at our predictions for week 4. And if there's any changes that we make, then we'll make some changes. So, like I said, I will be right back, guys. so taking a look at week 4. We're going to be making a number of changes this week. So Dolphins versus the Bills, especially after this week's performance. And to be fair, Miami did play the Broncos, but I think they have a lot of momentum heading into this week. So I'm going to say Miami gets the win over Buffalo. And as we start going through this, you'll start seeing some changes around the divisions here. So just get ready for that. Because, yeah, this goes through the whole season. But anyways, so I got Miami beating Buffalo this week. Now, Raiders and the Chargers. I know I was just begging for Raiders fans to tell me what's going on. But if we put that aside, I honestly think that the Chargers are playing at a much better level than the Raiders are this week. So I'm going to say the Chargers. Excuse me. I'm going to say the Chargers beat the Raiders this week. I'm also going to say that Tampa Bay gets the win over New Orleans. And I know I have this upset pick here, Cardinals versus the Niners. But I think I am going to flex this to become the Niners. You know, having the upset would be a lot of fun. But looking at the way things have gone, I think I'm going to change that to say Niners get the victory. So, week 4, you can see what we have going on here. Is anybody going to watch the Falcons versus Jaguars on the fucking Toy Story thing? Is anybody going to watch that? Because I can tell you I'm not watching it. You know, if I'm going to watch football, I'm going to watch a proper broadcast. That's why I don't watch the Nickelodeon broadcasts for those games that they do. I think it's stupid that they're trying to create this whole presentation for kids that's not going to teach them a damn thing about watching football. Because now kids are going to see Toy Story and say, this is what football is like. It's not what football's like. It's not what football's like. You know, if you're going to watch football, watch the proper broadcast. That's just my take. So, anyways, yeah, like I said, we have those picks that were changed for this week. Let's see. And actually, with those picks that we changed, it looks like the Browns and the 49ers get number 1 seeds based on our preseason picks. Interesting. So, anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. Thursday Night Football tomorrow. NFC North matchup. Detroit versus Green Bay in Lambeau. I got Detroit winning that one. I think it's going to be a very close game. But I'm going to pick Detroit to win this. Is this an upset? You tell me. But I got Detroit winning this game. So that's all I got for you guys today. Yeah, if you have any ideas for some segments that we can do as the season rolls on, please let me know, because I'm down to try some ideas. With that being said, I will see you guys next week.